Welcome back to the Leopards News Network. We have once again the Honorable Reverend Leroy Leopard delivering our daily dose of cope. There have been so many faces being eaten lately that these leopards, they're definitely going to have to take some time off to get some weight loss management. But here is the daily post. Someone posted this Lyndon B. Johnson quote: "If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you." And then they gave us this meme creation. Trump supporters be like, "Stock market is at an all-time high." Wow, look at this. It really does have a Trump sign right there, and a Confederate flag, and a dilapidated American flag. This definitely looks like a Trump support. This is definitely representation of a Trump supporter. Comments on this post: "But they all going to be rich because they own 10 shares of DJT Media any year now." This person says, "If I recall, a bunch of rich Fs made millions right after the election. Probably not the type that have this type of house." Rhythm Time Division says, "Conservative media, dirty, nasty, criminal immigrants. They'll steal your job, hurt your daughter, take your money, and probably unalive you while practicing their awkward foreign social habits." In another corner of conservative social media, Musk sets the stage to increase his H-1B visas, labor immigrants, so they can get good engineers to build great American companies without all those messy U.S. wage expectations and obtrusive labor protections. Just ignore the parenthetical to avoid cognitive dissonance intruding on continuing conservative adoration. Them, we're doing great. What are they even talking about? Well, Elon Musk is looking for more immigrant workers. He said there is a dire shortage of employable people because these Americans are not smart enough. So he's looking for some DEI hires after they railed against DEI hires. And the person captioned this: "Y'all gave up your freedoms for this clown. By the way, has food prices dropped yet?" A couple of the comments: "When will they get it? These guys are only in it for themselves. Their base can die as far as they care, especially now that they won't even need their vote, their approval for anything. I guess it's a fitting fate for this most shallow and self-serving of societies to be fooled by the political version of a three-car Monty." Ride Mooses says, "Never. Not enough to make a true difference. Way too many U.S. citizens are brainwashed and gullible." And then at the bottom, Resolution On says, "I love this for them." So this post titled "Cope and Seethe" goes into a little bit more what Leon Scum is talking about. Okay, so Ray seems to be taking exception to the fact that Vivek and Leon Scum and whoever this person named Ian is saying, let's bring in these immigrant workers. So Ray says, "African, Indian, and a Malaysian telling Americans how much they need to be replaced." So he's getting a little irritated, but Leon Scum right here says, "It comes down to this. Do you want America to win or do you want America to lose? If you force the world's best talent to play for the other side, America will lose. So let's bring in these immigrants to let them work," even though just a couple of months ago they were against DEI. And Vivek Ramaswamy had reposted that saying, "America first means we want America to win. Playing for second place doesn't cut it. So bring in these DEI hires. DEI is perfectly fine now that the Republicans are in office." To that, Ian says, "They're playing for last place. Nativism is just another form of DEI." I have never heard that phrase. Nativism is just another form of DEI, but that's where they are now. I don't really understand that. Somebody else weigh in. All right, let's look at some of these comments. "America First transformed into importing overseas foreign workers instead of investing in Americans quickly." Ninjas says, "It's America first, not Americans first. They should have read the fine print." 3Craft P says, "Or just billionaires first. They don't care if we work or not. That just that they can buy that third yacht." Very important. So what says, "Some animals are more equal than others, as in billionaires are allowed to call the shots, as in an equal society so they can buy more of that equality. So this one is titled Indian American Trumpies Find Out Their Side Hates Brown People. So this person named Apurva says, U.S. legal immigrants want safe cities, meritocracy, a fair chance for our children to succeed without being boxed into a DEI cult. Today, competence has won. Founders can go back to building without worrying about a government that kneecaps success. So thank you and good night. And then Apurva says, America is my chosen home. I didn't get here accidentally. I wasn't born here. I came for its values. I'm sacrificing time I'd have otherwise spent with my Indian relatives so I can be true to my values. I'm glad to see smart people I respect get involved in US politics. And then she says, this election is especially hard because I had to root against a woman who had very close connection to my roots. The great thing about the US is the unapologetic meritocracy. She continues with, today, the best candidate we had in the running won. So this person said that Trump was the best candidate. Oh, okay. So that was back in November, early November, right after the election. Now Apurva is saying, the racists slowly coming out of the woodwork on the TPOT. Interesting to see. Then she says, everyone loves meritocracy until they discover that they're not the top dog. Then suddenly it's F you, Brownie. And now you get to see a little bit about how it actually works here. Because yes, there are some brown and black people here in the United States that get pushed to the side because they're not white or male or rich or Christian. We do not have a meritocracy here. We've never had a meritocracy here because this country was formed on racism and sexism and classism. But you came in thinking that you just know things, Apurva, but you're going to get that education soon enough. Now, the people in the Abandon Harris movement never fail to get a chuckle out of me. So this one is titled, Very Troubling. Leader of Abandon Harris movement is now anxious about Trump. And here's the article from Raw Story. All right, it says, in interviews with NBC News, prominent members of the Abandon Harris movement maintain they made the right decision to either not vote for VP Kamala Harris or cast their ballot for Donald Trump, despite previously being in the Democrats' camp. As NBC's Jillian Frankel reported, members of the movement withheld their votes from Harris primarily because of President Joe Biden's policies involving the war in Gaza, and now they are hoping for the best after Trump assumes power, although there is a great deal of uncertainty. According to the Uncommitted National Movement co-founder Lila Elabed, the sister of Representative Rashida Tlaib, the Democrat out of Michigan, there's been many ways in which Harris chose the path of Liz Cheney and the donor class on a range of issues, and abandoning working class families in places like Dearborn, who make up the people Democrats claim to be fighting for. And I think at the time, Trump came in and fed the community that was grieving and in despair with lies and false promises. Briar Misner, who worked as the campaign manager for the Abandon Harris campaign in Pittsburgh, admitted they voted for Trump, with NBC reporting. He said the point of the Abandon Harris campaign was to punish the Democrats for supporting Israel during its war in Gaza, which the campaigners view as a genocide. And he hopes the Trump campaign will be more willing to negotiate with the group leaders. So now they have Trump, and Trump is going to be there for them and all of the people, and going to end the war in Gaza, because that is just what Trump seems like he is about to do. As Meisner explained, President Trump, he continuously came and he was in the community. While I don't believe that he's going to enact policies that will benefit the community, at least he showed that he was willing to show up for the community. Even if he fed us a bunch of lies, he showed up to lie to us. Yay. One leader of the movement did admit some doubts now that he's seen some of Donald Trump's cabinet appointments. Farah Khan, a co-chair of the Abandon Harris campaign in Michigan, says she's been a lifelong Democrat, but not anymore. She viewed voting against Harris as a moral issue as the war continues to unfold. Anybody with their right mind would not go back to the Democrats because they have not shown any change, and they're going to have to work really, really hard to win their votes back. Addressing how Trump appealed to the Muslim community, she stated, he at least came and spoke to the Muslims. He heard them and said, okay, I will finish. I will end the war in the Middle East, even if he didn't say, a genocide, but he said he will bring peace. And that's what people wanted to hear. And that's why he got the votes. She didn't care if he lied or if he's a known liar. He said the things and he showed up and said the things. She did express reservations over the president-elect's choice of former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, an ardent evangelical Christian, as ambassador to Israel, and ex-representative Tulsi Gabbard to oversee the Department of National Intelligence. It is very troubling. It's worrisome. And some of his cabinet picks, like Tulsi Gabbard and then Mike Huckabee, have made Muslims anxious. But we still have to wait and see how things pan out, because it's too early to say anything about Trump. And we all know that Trump only listens to Trump. Khan admitted. Oh, bad wizardry said, if you trusted Trump in 2024, you're not an intelligent person. As someone who is half Middle Eastern and grew up primarily with that side of the family, that correlates with a lot of my personal experiences. They're incredibly racist towards other minorities and the LGBTQ groups, and in this case, to their own detriment. If they're deported back to the Middle East, they care so much for, I hope they can dedicate themselves to making it better when they get back, opposed to running from the problem. I'm sorry, I just have zero empathy for anyone who voted for Trump. We knew he was a Muslim-hating piece of What could have possibly occurred to change that over the past 4 years? Absolutely nothing. These people were and are still delusional. And I'll end it with this, saying, ha ha, you thought Trump would just hurt other people. Yes, these leopards that you voted for will be eating your faces, and they're going to start eating other leopards too. These poor leopards will definitely need a fill-in the news anchor desk. So we'll be looking towards the lions, maybe a giraffe or two. We're going to need some other people to fill in the news desk. All right, y'all. Let me know what you think about these posts. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.